I realized that, wow, toilet paper and paper towels is not cheap, sis, okay? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video, and today's video is actually going to be super informative. Really sitting in my apartment, taking a little break from work, and I was like, man, I'm so thankful to like be in my own space, in my own apartment. Like, I'm so thankful right now. So I was like, why not sit down and make a video and help someone get into their own apartment? I am a former leasing consultant in the Northern Virginia area. So I used to lease apartments and penthouses to high profile clients. So I have a lot of background into knowing exactly like the ins and outs of moving into an apartment. So I wrote down a few keynotes, things that you should keep in mind when moving out. I don't know if you guys could see my notes, but it's like a whole bunch of gibberish. It's just things that I don't want to forget and I want to mention during this video, okay? Before I go any further in this video, I want to make sure that I shout out my homeboy. He has his own brand now called Happy Yourself, and he sent me this sweater. His sweaters are so comfortable. This is not a paid promotion. I just want to make sure that I give him a shout out because I really appreciate this sweater. It is pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and my aunt passed from breast cancer a few years ago, so it was very thoughtful of him to send me this sweater. I will leave the link to his store in the description box below. I'm gonna dive into this video and try to make it as quick as possible. Essentially, I just want you guys to get this information down. If you're thinking about moving out your parents' house or moving out from living with a possible roommate, I want to make sure that you guys have all of this information and you feel prepared and confident to leave the nest, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a little background about me personally. So I am 26 years old. I moved out of my parents' house at 20, and I moved out of my parents' house twice. Okay, I moved out twice. So the first time I moved out was with my boyfriend, and I wouldn't really consider that moving out because I was still being taken care of in a way. I had bills, but not real bills because he took care of the heavier bills. You know, after 2 years, I decided that I wanted to actually just be on my own and live by myself. So I ended up moving back to my parents' house so I can save money and feel prepared to move into my own apartment, okay? So you guys, moving out on my own I was prepared because I am very finance savvy. Like, I do not play about money. I do not play about my finances. I am frugal, okay, honey? I am frugal. So I do not play about money. So I'm really good when it comes to kind of like seeing where my money is going, how I'm managing my money. I'm pretty good at that. First thing first, ask yourself why you want to move out. Okay? Ask yourself, why do you feel the need to move? Are you moving because you want to keep up with the Joneses because that's the thing to do? Or are you moving because mental health? You know, for me personally, I moved out way before I had planned, and that ties along with mental health. I felt the need to move as soon as possible because if you live in Northern Virginia, you are familiar with 66, and child, I had to go to work 5 days a week, and I was working a 9 to 5, of course, being a leasing consultant. I was working 9 to 5 hours. So for me to be at work at 9 o'clock, I would have to leave my parents' house at 6:45 and sometimes still be late. I would constantly see accidents, and it wasn't until I got into an accident where I was like, yo, I gotta get up out of here. Like, I can't do this commute anymore. It is taking a toll on me. I don't have a social life because when I'm out of work, I just want to sleep. I wasn't really happy. So for my mental health, I had to find a place that's closer to work and closer to everything that I wanted to do. Okay, so ask yourself why you want to move. What is your reason? Is it because you want to keep up with the Joneses, which I do not advise? Do not move out off the strength of everybody else is doing it. Move because you feel like this is the time to do it. Especially if your parents are not kicking you out. Sometimes, you know, everyone's situation is different, and that will go towards mental health. If your situation at home is different, moving out for your mental health is definitely a reason to move out. Also, if you just want to move out because you feel like if you move out, you'll learn more about just being an adult, do it. I'm all for that. I love, especially women. I know there's some men who are gonna watch this, but I love to see women just like be out here in this world trying to get it. All right, like I'm all for that, and I love to see it. So next question you need to ask yourself is, where do you want to move? So my first apartment was a studio apartment in the city, so I lived inside of Tyson's Corner. I will link below in the description box both my apartment tours, so you'll see my first apartment, which was a studio apartment, and then the second apartment, which I'm in now, which is a 1-bedroom apartment. The first apartment was inside of the city, and then the second one is literally in the suburbs in the Cut, but it's also not far from the city. Thankful. I'm not going to disclose exactly where I live just yet because I still live here, but yep. So I wanted to move closer to work and closer to the things I was into at 22. So I lived in Tyson's Corner, which is not far from DC, but my apartment was only 15 minutes away from work. When it comes to your where do you want to move, be sure to research. Research the area, think about all the pros, think about all the cons that you'll face moving there. So let's go back really quick. So ask yourself why you want to move, number one, and number two, where do you want to move? Okay, so now we're gonna go down to what's your budget. So this is literally the whole gag of moving out, because money is going to look real different when it comes straight out of your pockets and not your parents' pockets. When you're responsible for everything, yo, like it hits different. Sometimes it's a little bit depressing. I do not wish depression on anybody, okay? So that is why you have to be very, very, very careful with your budget. Again, be mindful that your situation is not the same as everybody else's situation. When you think about budget, you need to consider bills. So off the bat, what do you think you can afford off of the strength of your current work situation, your side hustle, whatever? How much do you think you can afford on just rent by itself? Because you're still taking account that you have other bills, whether let it be a phone bill, a car note, a student loan. You have to keep in account that those bills are super important, because these are things that affect your credit for you to have a house in the future. So you have to be able to afford your bills. And you also have to be able to afford yourself. And when I say that, I'm talking about self-care. Whether it's you're someone who likes to eat out, who likes to go places, who likes to travel, can you afford having a whole bunch of heavy bills and also afford traveling? So you have to take those two things into account, okay? And be very realistic with yourself. Don't just move into like the most luxurious apartment and you can barely afford it. So if you live in the Northern Virginia area, there is WDU programs, which are workforce dwelling units, and then there's also ADU programs, which are affordable dwelling units. So I personally used the WD units before. So this is also a way for you to kind of like keep your coins, okay? Because you can still live in the beautiful apartment complex that you want to live at your rate, okay? So these workforce units, they go off of your income, like what you're making. And the best way for you to figure this out is by doing your research, sis. Okay, so I'm also only talking about Northern Virginia. If you're watching from a different state, I believe different counties offer different promotions as to how you could still live how you want to live within your means. So do your research. For the Northern Virginia area, we call it WDU units and ADU units. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys how much I pay in my 1-bedroom apartment, but if you're in the Northern Virginia area, be mindful that you're looking for just a studio, it's about $1,200. For a 1-bedroom apartment, it is starting around $1,700, and for 2 bedrooms, you're looking at like $2,100 and up. So not all apartment complexes do take part into that program, but that's why you have to do all of this before you actually leave your house and actually actively look for an apartment complex. All right, so let's do a little recap. All right, so ask yourself why you want to move. Ask yourself, where do you want to move? Ask yourself, what's your budget? And now, time frame. So when it comes to time frame is super important, because if you did your due diligence to actually go over everything I brought up, like going over apartments, doing your own research on the apartments, driving through these neighborhoods through the day, through the night, if you did that part of the work, then you should know exactly like what your finances are looking like around this time frame, and then you could start looking for the actual apartment. Tip, as a leasing consultant, I'll tell you, do not go looking for an apartment until you're ready to move or you're flexible with your moving date, okay? But you have to be ready to move. So the reason behind that is because if you're going to do an apartment tour, then, you know, different apartment units and complexes are going to have promotions that you will qualify for. So let's say, for example, they'll tell you like, after you tour this apartment complex, you have 24 hours to put in an application to lease, and you'll have your amenities waived, your parking waived, your first 2-3 months for free. Okay, like for example, I've had my amenities waived. I've had 2 months for free before, and you know, those are things that are very beneficial if you're going to tour when you're ready to move. Next, when it comes to roommates, personally, I know myself, and you should know yourself too. I could never live with anybody. Like, I cannot have a roommate. If you're looking to get a roommate, make sure your roommate is someone that you have very strong boundaries with, or a friend of a friend. Okay, don't room with just any old stranger like it's college. Don't do that. I wanted to do this video because I thought it'd be very helpful. Moving into an apartment is such a big deal, especially if it's your first time. So I want you guys to have the best experience possible. If you guys enjoy this video or enjoy videos like this, please do not hesitate to leave me a thumbs up, like, share, comment, and do not forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.